Well, hello, everybody. It's Colin Fernandez here again. A warm welcome to this year's Illuminate 22, our virtual global event. I'm especially excited and privileged to introduce Iwan Ising at Infor today. And in particular, really looking at the title and abstract around Infor's journey to saving millions by decentralizing governance with Sumo Logic. So without further ado, I want to thank Iwan for his support, his passion, and his insights, and sharing this great session with all of you. Over to you, Iwan.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Colin. And as Colin mentioned, my name is Iwan Ising. I often get the question how to pronounce my first name. And although I listen to pretty much any pronunciation, including yo, presenter dude, my parents intended my first name to be pronounced as E1, letter E, number 1. It's very simple. I'm happily married and I have 2 sons, age 15 and 17. I enjoy scuba diving, going to the movies, and play Xbox games. And when it's not raining, I'll fire up the barbecue. Before I joined Infor, I was a software engineer, an IT architect, CTO, chief architect, and part-time science teacher to kids with an IQ of over 135. And for several years, I coached leadership teams at startups as well as enterprises to become more agile. I've lived and worked in all over the world, including Egypt, the US, Pakistan, Switzerland, and now I live in the Netherlands. In 2018, I joined Infor as a service reliability architect, and in April 2020, I became the team leader of that team. Infor's headquarters are located in New York City, and we have offices around the world with our major development and operation sites in the US, UK, Netherlands, Sweden, Czech Republic, India, and the Philippines. And we also have quite a large development environment in Australia. As per January of this year, we have 67,000 customers. Since the introduction of our products as SaaS in July 2015, we onboarded 14,000 customers onto our SaaS proposition, and that accumulates to 71 million discrete users. Our cloud-based products are resulting in $3.3 billion of revenue. In our SaaS offering, we deploy new product releases once a month, which allows us to continuously innovate across the complete enterprise software spectrum. In the last 10 years, Infor and its products have evolved from on-prem to in-cloud, from product development to service delivery. All but a handful of our products were originally provided as on-premise solutions, products that have been in development for several decades and have continuously evolved as the market demanded and technology allowed, eventually transitioning into multi-tenant cloud offerings. With the transition from our on-prem product to an in-cloud service, our attitude towards our value proposition changed accordingly. As a company, we changed from one that develops enterprise software to one that provides services to the enterprises. An aspect of these changes are relevant to today's presentation, which is the fact that we took on the responsibility of the operational aspects of our products. Evidently, understanding how our software is behaving in an operational context is imperative. Logs are usually the first source to find this information, and since long we turn to Sumo as our strategic service for managing our logs. But more on that later. Seen from a 30,000-foot vantage point, we have 5 major products around which our multi-tenant SaaS offerings are defined. Each of these are addressing discrete markets. Our customers in retail, for example, have different applications in use than our customers in manufacturing. In many cases, our products are used at the core of the business of our customers. Each of our major products cater for specific verticals, therefore. Our architecture allows us to deploy our enterprise solutions with different complements of additional business solutions, thus providing unique solutions for different micro verticals. This unique approach to providing SaaS does call for a unique organizational structure as well. Large teams develop our main products, smaller teams provide the complementing business solutions. And in addition, we have a single operating platform that is also architected in a way that supports cross-service integrations. Our tooling around service development and delivery is based on standard off-the-shelf products and services from vendors like GitLab, Veracode, AWS, and Microsoft, and of course, Sumo Logic. We are a long-time customer of Sumo for managing and operationalizing our logs, and we provide access to their services to all Infor employees indiscriminately. We leverage the fact that all our services are delivered to customers by discrete teams. And at the introduction of Sumo, we provided a high degree of autonomy regarding log management to our teams. The only restriction implemented was related to access to the logs. Teams had only access to the logs generated by their own applications. Our SaaS landscape consists of highly tuned and integrated business solutions. At the architectural level, these solutions consist of discrete services and products that are the responsibility of individual product teams. Our strategy to leverage the uniqueness of our architecture regarding log management has proven to be very successful. We're measuring success in terms of adoption of log management as an operational tool and adoption of Sumo as strategic service for log management. As cloud adoption matured within our service portfolio, our operationability of services matured as well. We provide operational support at the business level. This means, for obvious reasons, that operational tools like log management matured from predominantly reactive tools to business support tools with active and even proactive traits. What I mean by this is that we no longer see our logs limited to individual products, but instead we use our logs across the whole holistic customer experience. Logs are used to improve that customer experience. This new approach to log management from product-centric and reactive to business-centric and proactive required that different teams adopt the same standards, comply with the same conventions, and thus ensuring that logs created by one team can be processed by other teams. A centralized approach to defining these standards and evangelizing them is the only effective way to do this. My team, the SRA team, is taking that centralized role. Sumo is our single source for log management, and my team the single source for log policies. But we are not a prescribing team. My team never ever tells any other team how to do their job. Because our product landscape is very heterogeneous, how to implement specific log behavior is also very heterogeneous. Considering we have over 100 individual products that are all architected and developed differently, a prescriptive stance is not scalable and therefore not sustainable. We adopt a centralized model to define policies and standards and a decentralized model for implementing those standards. Each team is free to decide when to comply with and how to comply with these policies. Our log management policies are defined in such a way that we put the focus on intent and expectations. This automatically favors similarities in implementations because teams will find it easier to comply through adoption of existing solutions instead of reinventing wheels. By actively evangelizing intent and expectations, we ensure that teams adopt our standards when it results in a benefit to them. Standardization of log behavior is important, but as is common in value as well as cost-driven organizations, the effective approach to drive change is to use value as the driver. Because our strategy for Sumo adoption was based on autonomy of teams, we found that the number of ingested log messages exploded as more customers migrated to our cloud offerings. 3 years ago, when we had our meetings with our Sumo account managers to renew the contract, we also leveraged the fact that our teams had matured when it comes to using Sumo as our log management service. As we signed the new contract with Sumo in 2020, we also started implementing the concept of ingest budgets. Ingest budgets allow you to cap the number of bytes ingested on a daily basis. For our development environment, we configure ingest budgets such that once the budget is maxed out, no more logs are ingested. Ingest budgets defined in our production environments are configured to only raise an alert when they are maxed out. Because log behavior is implemented by individual product team and their individual products, we have defined ingest budgets at the product level. This allows us to control the amount of data ingested at the individual product level as well. Products that are heavily used generate a lot of logs. They also generate a lot of revenue. The cost of a budget increase is therefore easily justifiable. With the introduction of ingest budgets, we also introduced the concept of the Sumo owner. This is a single person who is accountable for the log behavior of a product, including how much data is ingested. When the ingest budget is maxed out, the Sumo owner is responsible for either changing the product's log behavior or to request additional budget, Consequently, the Sumo owner must be empowered to adjust the priorities of the product team so it can work on changes of the product's log behavior. Sumo owners are typically development or operations managers. To accommodate the Sumo owners to prioritize work on log behavior in relation to work on other activities like additional features, we provide accurate and up-to-date information regarding the log behavior of their products. At any given time, Sumo owners have access to information related to used capacity of an ingest budget, as well as the incurred cost related to log ingestion. This information is provided through an in-house developed system called SAMS, Sumo Automated Management System, and I will cover SAMS later on. As mentioned, we provide both the number of bytes ingested for a specific product and the dollar value related to that ingestion. This is crucial information for Sumo owners to understand the effect of changes made in their product's log behavior. Mind, we want teams to reduce the cost of logging without reducing its value. Logs are used to prevent and resolve incidents, and we do not want to reduce cost at the expense of increasing the time to solve incidents. We therefore use the feature of tiering in Sumo. Through Sumo's default settings, logs are ingested at the continuous tier, which is the most expensive tier. The two alternative tiers, frequent and infrequent, are around respectively 50% and 10% of the cost of the continuous tier. Ingest budgets are defined irrespective of the tier used, as they revolve around the number of bytes ingested. In other words, ingesting 50 gigabytes in the continuous tier will cost the same as 100 gigabytes ingested at the frequent tier. We recommend using continuous tier only for log messages that typically identify issues, meaning they are related to either warnings or errors. All other log messages should be ingested into the infrequent tier. This will result in log behavior where the most significant logs are in the most feature-rich tier, which is the continuous tier, and as there should be few errors, there should be very few log messages in this tier. All other logs are incidentally needed, pun intended, but when required should provide detailed information. They are ingested at the infrequent tier. We see that the product logs that are re-tiered following our recommendation have a cost reduction of up to 80%. Our approach resulted in a doubling of our log ingestion in 2021 at an ingestion cost increase of only 10%, saving us around $1 million. We were able to get to this result by having a clearly defined standards and recommendations of how to use tiering in Sumo, and by having a simple and very straightforward process to re-tiering logs that only requires a 4-hour time investment of the team that wants to re-tier, and by actively evangelizing the business benefits of applying re-tiering to logs. We focused on making sure that Sumo owners were fully appraised of the costs related to the log behavior of their products and holding them accountable for that behavior. We do not enforce re-tiering. Instead, we promote value-driven thinking. It is up to the Sumo owner to determine whether re-tiering yields the best business outcomes. Consequently, re-tiering, when applied, always resulted in improved business results. I already mentioned our Sumo Automated Management System, SAMS. SAMS is an API-only system that provides a consistent and Infor opinionated interface to Sumo. SAMS abstracts the Sumo API, for example, by providing read-only access to ingest budget data. The user is authenticated and authorized through SAMS, and when permitted, will be provided with the requested information, irrespective of the user's permissions in Sumo. SAMS also enforces standardization and policy compliance. Our APIs to create content in Sumo ensures that naming conventions are applied, for example. As SAMS is an API-only system, it is designed to be used through automation scripts, and this supports the paradigm to fully automate cloud resources. My team has created tutorials on how to use the SAMS API from Python and Java to make it easy to adopt the API. Several operations teams already leverage SAMS to fully automate the management of their Sumo objects. SAMS and the way we develop SAMS is worth a presentation all on its own, so I will not go any deeper onto the topic. In the last 10 minutes or so, I explained to you how we are leveraging Sumo to improve our ability to provide to customers the best enterprise SaaS offering available. We consider Sumo as our strategic partner for log management. I also explained how we managed to save $1 million by leveraging Sumo's concept of data tiering. the way we apply it together with the concept of ingest budgets, and our approach to evangelize the intent and expectations of log behavior to individual product teams. And in addition, we accommodate Sumo owners, which is an Infor invented role, with relevant and accurate information regarding the log behavior of their products. Sumo owners use this information to decide whether it is valuable to make changes to this behavior. This decentralized model is highly scalable and sustainable. My team, Infor's SRA team, is responsible for managing our Sumo account. This is not our full-time task, and our ambition is to spend only 5% of our time on managing the account. And we achieve this through increasing the autonomy of individual product teams by providing up-to-date Sumo-related information and a self-service API. We were able to double the amount of log bytes ingested at no additional cost in an organization with over 100 teams delivering products with their own specific log behavior. And this is far from trivial. It took us 6 months to implement the concept of ingest budgets and Sumo owners across all of Infor. It took us another 6 months to adopt the concept of tiering and extract the cost metrics at a per product level, taking tiering into account. It would have taken us at least twice as long, if not for the active participation of the Sumo team in our efforts to implement this decentralized governance model. Our Sumo TAM and CSM are continuously working with us to help us drive value from their services, focusing on how we can benefit as much as possible from the features Sumo provide. And more importantly, they have been working with us to complement the Sumo services with services and functionalities we need, but are not part of the standard Sumo offering. An important reason, in my opinion, why we are successful in getting value from Sumo services is that active participation from our Sumo team. Don, Joel, Erica, Steve, and everybody else never ever said, "I could have told you that." They have said, "I told you so," but always they tried not to have to say that. Recipients of my emails will have noticed that since long, my signature includes the phrase, "Winning is a team sport." Managing our Sumo account, implementing our decentralized governance model, and saving $1 million in 2021 alone is the result of teaming up with our Sumo account team. Only through collaboration as a team did we jointly create a win-win situation. Our future with Sumo includes expanding the functionality in SAMs, adding more self-service capabilities, and simplifying some more complex Sumo features. We are, as a company, strategically adopting OpenTelemetry as our standard for tracing. We are also investigating how to adopt OpenTelemetry for metrics and logs. And finally, and this is probably one of the more significant efforts we will be exerting in the next few months, we will be defining Sumo learning paths tailored for specific roles within Infor. Our goal is to minimize the time required for training and maximize the benefits of being trained. We will leverage this to increase autonomy for individual teams by granting more permissions to trained users, knowing that these users are expert in using Sumo as a tool. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. In case you would like to get in touch with me, please scan the QR code, and that's perfectly safe. Thank you very much.